Welcome, everybody. My name is Bruce Fassbinder. I'm with the CTC Marketing Department, and this is a FAFSA financial aid Q&A. So any questions you have about the FAFSA application, financial aid deadlines, paperwork, when you get your money, and all that kind of stuff, we've got answers today. Joining me, Morgan Powell. She's with Student Success and Persistence. Charlotte Wesley's in that top corner. She's with the SOAR program, also Student Success and Persistence. Shodi Morrow is our financial aid expert, and above her is Mariceli Santiago. She's with Student Life, and she will also be able to answer some questions if you need be. And Lee Greenthaner is our videographer who is streaming this to Facebook. So thank you all for being here. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to turn it over to Morgan. Morgan, you take it away and introduce Shadi.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. So, as Bruce said, Miss Charlotte Wesley and I are the SOAR leaders. We're going to tell you a little bit about the SOAR program, and then we're going to go ahead and just jump right into Miss Shoney's presentation on the FAFSA and how to get it from the government to the school and any questions on the application itself. So to start, the SOAR program is for first-time students. What we do is when you come into CTC for the first time, we're going to help you figure out everything, get acclimated, and then we're going to continue with you every semester until you graduate. Our intent is to help you finish your degree in the easiest manner possible. And we do that by making sure you guys get the resources you need the best way possible on campus and off campus. We do work with a little bit of both. Um, we currently are doing our SOAR scholarships. We are offering for students who are in their second semester after they've started the program with us a $500 scholarship for retaining to the next semester. We want you guys to keep finishing your degree. And I think that's pretty much it, Miss Charlotte. Did I miss anything?
Uh, that's another than SOAR. So SOAR stands for Student Outreach and Academic Relationships. So relationships. I always say that for our first-time students, we don't ever want you to go at this alone. So we have resources and different departments that are available to help you and to guide you through each semester. So be on the lookout for events that we often host that where we invite in departments to show you the resources and actually sit down and register for classes for each semester. So be on the lookout for those events and any other sort of events.
Yes, thank you. So now, Ms. Shoni, if you'll go ahead and start your presentation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shoni. I am your financial aid technician slash advisor slash communication manager slash work study supervisor. So if you have questions, I have answers. All righty. So first thing I want y'all to do is make sure that you have already filled out your 23-24 FAFSA. That is very important. Okay. Whenever you do that, and it's gone the irs.gov, studentaid.gov. That's the website that you must go to. Okay. When you fill it out, it's going to take about 3 to 5 business days to come back to here at CTC. All right. What I want y'all to do, I want you to just continue following up with your FAFSA. You're going to get an email and it says, "Hey, congratulations, everything's great, and you got everything." That's not the case. That's just the Department of Education is saying you filled out your application correctly. It doesn't have anything to do with what you actually need. All right. So we are very big on checking your Eagle Self Service portal because sometimes you're waiting and your actual things that you need to do and your checklist is actually in that Eagle Self Service portal. Okay. So check your checklist. If you are confused when it comes to your checklist, like I don't know what a V1, V5 form is, I don't know how to do any of this, and your financial aid is at a halt. It is okay to call us. It is okay to come in. You do not at all need an appointment. Just come in and see us. If you want to come in and see me directly, I'm great with that. All right. So it's very, very important that you get that correct year because a lot of them are still filling out the 22-23 FAFSA. I need you to fill out the 23-24 FAFSA for this upcoming year. Um, let's see. The financial aid office will be requesting documentation. And what I mean by that, you'll receive emails and it's saying, hey, I need you to turn in this. I need you to turn in your taxes. And all of that can just be so overwhelming. Like I said, just give us a call. Check both Eagle Self Service and your emails. Whatever email that you signed up with, that's the email that for school, what you register for school is, that's the first email was going to go out to that email address. So very important. Sometimes it's going to be sitting there pending in your trash or spam and things like that. Make sure you're looking for those documents because you should be getting documentations if you're already completed. And if you're not, then hey, there's a problem here. Come see me, okay? It's very important. Um, if you're unsure what to do, I know everybody says this. I have a lot of students that come into my office a lot and they're like, well, I haven't even registered for class. I haven't done anything. That's okay. Okay. So if you are all registered, and please do not register for classes until you get your financial. If you are depending on financial aid for your aid to go to those classes, wait to sign up for your classes until you know that's finally gone through. Because the last thing I want you to do is be dropped from those classes. That is stressful. It causes anxiety, causes everything just goes to chaos. And we don't want to do that. Okay. We want y'all to be successful. This is what we're here for. We're several financial aid advisors that are in here. If you see a person that you like, we usually go by the last names. So, like me, I take care of anybody with the last name of NOP. So, if you are NOP, you can come see me. Hey, I like that. So, what's next? Once your financial aid and everything has been processed and everything is good to go, you're going to see your award letter within your Eagle Self Service. This is stating, hey, I have this much for Pell. Mind you, that Pell you do not have to pay back. All right. Then you'll have that subsidized loan and that unsubsidized loan. So, automatically financial aid is going to accept that Pell Grant for you. So when it says, hey, I can't go in and accept it, that just means it's already accepted for you. The one thing that the financial aid office will not do is accept your loans. Okay. Definitely get in touch with the loan officer. She's amazing. She will actually break it down for you if you need loans. um, Last thing we want y'all to do is collect all these high interest loans and everything else. That's not exactly what we want to do. Okay. So Tina is our loan officer, and if you want to call up here and speak with Tina, that's great. Just give her a call. She is super smart when it comes to all that. I'm not too savvy on the loans. I don't know why. Um, Also, whenever your refund gets refunded, when it goes to the business office, I'm sorry, when it goes to the business office has 30 days to send that refund money to you. So a lot of times they're like, oh, I can't register for classes. I can't do any of this financial aid. Where's my money? So if financial aid is put in the money into your student account, then it'll go to the business office to pay for those tuition and fees. Then whatever is left over, the refund occurs. Okay. So it does take up to 30 days. So if you are depending on that, there should be a negative balance that you see, and that negative balance will actually let you go and get books from the library and stuff. Um, Another thing is a lot of people do not know that we offer CTC set aside grant or a TEOG set aside grant. This is extra money that you don't have to pay back. So if you want to try to qualify for that, you have to have a financial aid on file, okay, and then put in for it. Go into your eTrieve and put in Texas State Grant and fill that out. All right, that's additional money to help with anything, books and everything that you may need when it comes to your success here. Um, so we talked about loans. Another thing I want to talk about is SAP. Okay, SAP is very important. Financial aid isn't just about, oh, you got money and everything's good. You can go under a SAP and a SAP warning and a SAP suspension. And what does that mean? So for financial aid, you have to maintain a 2.0 GPA and a 67% completion rate. Okay, if you do not, then it becomes a warning and it lets you another semester to get your grades up. Okay, then you'll go on a suspension. So I want y'all to be mindful of that, that whenever that occurs and you see, hey, something's not going right here, and you plan on just dropping all your classes, please don't do that. Talk with an advisor, talk with an academic advisor and a financial aid advisor, because we don't want you having to pay money back and stuff like that, okay? Um, Another thing is that is near and dear to my heart is the work study program. Okay, the work study program is an amazing opportunity for students to make additional money working in departments that they're actually going to get their degree in. So if you are interested in that, come and talk to me, because I was actually a work study, and now I'm over the work studies. So it's kind of cool how all of that interacted and outplayed itself. So just make sure that you come to me, fill out your application. It's under your eTrieve as well as a work study application. And then we'll start interviewing. The departments will start interviewing next month, end of the next month. And then we'll start going full roll into August when the fall semester starts. You get paid for it. We work around your class schedules, which is very important. Because so think about it. You're here on campus, you have a class. That class doesn't, your second class doesn't start for another couple of hours. Fitting some time in there would be an amazing opportunity that you just have that extra money to come. It's only 19.5 hours a week. So it's not a full-time job or anything like that. We have students that are in the dorms that are working. We have students at the gym. We have students at the planetarium. It's just everywhere on campus, because we want everybody to be successful. And that is one thing that is going to make you successful, help you get your resume built up, is through this work study program. As far as that, I want anybody to send me. I'm going to put it in the chat if anybody has any questions, concerns, anything. I'm going to put it in the chat, my email and my phone number. Okay, that is super important to me. If you see, come to the financial aid office. I'm the first office on the door. Just knock on the door and just come in and have a talk. If you're overwhelmed, if you're concerned, if it's too much for you right now, just let us work through your financial aid for you. Okay. Um, Other than that, that's all I got.
Can one of you guys share your screen to show where to start the FAFSA process and kind of walk through? Because I'm sure students will have questions on exactly what they need to do to fulfill that FAFSA application.
Sure. I didn't have that set up.
No, that's just,
Sorry.
I just know that that's usually a big
Yeah.
thing when we have our new student orientation and virtual info that they ask about that. So we want to
Yeah.
make sure we get there.
So that is on the studentaid.gov and the 2324 FAFSA. You're going to have to fill in a FAFSA, the student ID save key. And that save key is what's going to help you log into your FAFSA. You do not have to complete that FAFSA all the way through right now. Okay. If you say, hey, I have a lot of students that come in and they start working on their FAFSA on the computer that we have, and they're like, I don't have my parents' taxes yet. You can save and it'll save that spot for you. Okay. If you're confused about taxes, or if you're trying to, if you're trying to, wade through that, yes, there it is, wade through those waters and everything, then it'll help you. You can break it down where she's saying right here. You can create a new account. You can do anything. Show your password. Remember, whatever password and whatever email and phone number you sign up with, that's going to be it for life. So if you're always changing your emails, be mindful of that, okay? Because next year you'll have to fill out another FAFSA. So very crucial. But when you get to in and you log in to this website right here, you'll see a bunch of bubbles up top, and you go step by step. It will turn green whenever you see it, green with a check. Okay. It will not let you proceed forward or anything until we fix that. If you mess up on your taxes, it's okay. I don't want you to get frustrated. Okay. There's so many people that are just like, oh no, this is just too much for me. Don't worry about it. That's what we're here for, okay? Um, it's super easy. Please don't stress about the financial aid portion of it. We want to get you to where you have your funding and that you can be complete in school. All right?
Okay, I'm going to ask a couple questions just for students. So, because I've gotten these questions before. Can students come into the financial aid office and you guys help them fill out their FAFSA?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot tell you what to put in the blanks, but I can direct you in the right direction. And I can step back and be like, no, yes, that kind of thing. But definitely, we can help you with that portion of it. We have a lot of students that come in every day, and we don't expect you to know it. That's what we're here for.
If a student's parents have previously done the FAFSA, do the parents need to log in to help the students complete their portions?
So the parents will have their own little save key to log in and to complete their portion. Absolutely. So if they have not, then have them create one. But the one thing you don't want to do is have your parents filling out all your information and then you're confused because then it's going to start asking for taxes and the system's thinking that you're the parent. And that's why it's going to have two separate keys.
Oh, one
Uh,
question, you mentioned tax forms. For students looking to fill out the FAFSA to attend the fall semester, what tax year should they use?
2021. It's always 2 years behind. So it's going to be 2021.
Right.
Hey, Shoni, can you go over again the SAP appeals? I get a lot of questions from students about the SAP appeal. They don't know that they're actually having to complete the form. And then I know the SAP appeal, it looks or it sounds similar to the academic suspension form. So could you please go over that again?
When you start that, explain what SAP is. What does that an acronym stand for so students will know?
Student academic progress.
Great, great.
I had to think about that for a minute. Student academic progress. Like I was stating, the government wants us to maintain that high standard, a 2.0, and a 67% completion rate. If you do not, or if you fall below that, the system will automatically, not us, not I don't go in there and start randomly putting everybody on SAPs. I promise I don't. The system will automatically say, "Hey, they are not hitting that mark." Mind you, you have to hit the 67% completion rate plus the GPA. A lot of students come in, they're like, "Well, Shoni, I'm hitting the 2.0," and I'm like, "Well, we're not hitting the completion rate." Okay, so that's cumulative. I want y'all to know that. So whatever you have tried and you've withdrawn from, so it's very different from academic advising. So it's everything. We count everything as far as what you withdrew from, if you dropped a class, if you failed a class, any of those. If you're having incoming credits come from another school, so make sure that you're mindful of that portion of it. When it comes to the 2.0 GPA, that'll automatically, it's trying to tell you, hey, there's a warning. All right. If you fall below that GPA a little bit, um, there's a warning. You have a whole semester to get that back up. If you do not get it back up, this is where we don't just want to see you fail. We have an academic appeal process. So all you have to do is go in and one, you can call your advisor and say, "Hey, I need the form to help me fill it out and everything else. Where can I go?" You go into your eTreat and you fill out your SAP appeal, and you put down, "Hey, sometimes you know what, life happens." Let me just put it that way. Life happens. Sometimes people go in the hospital, whatever the nature may be. If someone's passed away, we understand. And that's when it goes to our director and our co-director, and they decide if we're going to take you off that academic suspension or if we're going to keep you on that suspension. Now, if you it's chosen for you to be on that suspension, then you will probably, well, no, it's not probably, you will have to pay out of pocket for your classes. This is how important this is when I say SAP. You'll have to pay for your own classes, and then you'll have a time period on when you want to get it up. A lot of times, my boss is saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you another semester to get these grades up. Let's see what's going on." Okay. So it's not that we automatically just forget about you. We give you a chance and an opportunity, like the warning, then the SAP appeal. So, um, but I do want to warn you that the SAP appeal can only be completed one time here at CTC. So, is that good? Or
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. If there's any student questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We are monitoring the chats both here and on Facebook. Um, so a couple follow-up questions for the FAFSA because I did think of them because I have had students reach out about these before. Um, What is the cutoff for using your parents' information? I know if you're younger, there's a cutoff, and if you're living with them or not, there's a cutoff.
So no matter what, unless you're married or in the military, you are still considered a dependent by the Department of Education until the age of 24. So a lot of times, you're 23 and you're standing in front of me, and I'm like, "I need your parents' taxes." It's just, I promise that's not us. It's the Department of Education asking for those things. So that's why. But we'll reiterate it when you come see us.
Don't be scared to get your parents' information. Um, it's okay. There is a couple worksheets on the FAFSA website that you can fill out with your parents if you're not able to sit down with them and fill it out entirely in front of them and have them work through the application with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if you go ahead and Google FAFSA help worksheet, that FAFSA.gov itself or studentaid.gov itself has their own worksheets to help you fill out the information. This is the page you're going to want. It's called FAFSA worksheet, and you're going to click on this link right here, and that will pull up this sheet right here. You're not going to mail this, that you're not going to do anything with this. This is just for your personal use when filling out the sheet so your parents don't have to sit next to you the entire time you're filling out your FAFSA application. It will have all the information you're going to need to fill out your application on there. It'll have your information. It'll have your parents' information, and it's nice and color coded so you know whose is whose. Because I know personally, when I was doing the FAFSA, I had a hard time corralling my mother to get near me, sit with me long enough to fill it out, and this would help for those situations. Um, but be careful, this does have a lot of private and personal information on it. You're going to want to take care of it. Just don't throw it around willy-nilly.
I do want to add, so some are probably on this call right now, and they're probably wondering, well, this doesn't apply to me. My parents aren't around, or I'm a homeless individual. There's paperwork and documentation that we can help you with all that. So I don't want you discouraged. I don't want you to say, well, okay, I don't know. So just get with us. There's special circumstances. If you make 25% less than what you made in 2021 to now, then yes, we can look into a special circumstance to see if we can get you that FAFSA and that need for aid.
Okay, Shawnee, I think you were touching on this question that came up. What are some of the exceptions for parents and FAFSA, like McKinney-Vento and so forth? Can you touch on some of those exceptions? I think you had just started to do that.
Oh, oh yeah, sorry. It's the special circumstance. Special circumstance can be for anything. For hey, I'm not making the amount of money that I used to be making. I do know for a fact whenever I was in, I had a special circumstance because I made drastically less than what I was making in during that time tax period. So a lot of times parents get discouraged and they don't want to give their taxes out and everything else because they automatically think that they're going to be denied. And that's not the case. Another thing is the homeless youth. Okay, we have individuals who are in that situation that we can help. Okay, and the foster children, all of that. If you grew up through the foster homes, and those are the things that are very touchy and very, very personal. So we don't want to just get somebody in there. That's why our director's highly involved when it comes to those situations. And if you don't know, just ask. I cannot reiterate that enough. Because if I don't know something, I'm asking somebody. Okay. Um, but other than that, there's the two I talked about, Bruce, as well.
Great, thank you, thank you. Um, what in your experience, and Morgan, Charlotte, also feel free to chime in, but Shawnee, what are some of the major roadblocks with the FAFSA that students present to you, or that they incur?
They don't check their emails. I hate to say that. That is the major roadblock because we can get everything smooth and going and like present this to you, and it's sitting in an email somewhere. And I don't know how many times students come in and they're like, "Where's my FAFSA? Where's my funding here?" And I'm like, "It's in your email. Like, was telling you exactly what to do. So double check your emails. Just get into a habit of checking those things, because if not, then you're going to miss a lot of information. Just think of it this way: you're waiting for FAFSA for money, and if I was waiting for some money, I definitely would be checking that every single day. So that is a major just roadblock tremendously. Um, Communication between your parents and yourself, because a lot of times parent and student come in and there's two totally different stories, and I'm having to figure out which one we're rolling with. So just be mindful that y'all are on the same page. Be mindful to check your emails, and if you don't know, once again, ask.
Is there a,
So,
is
oh,
there a certain timeline or anything that students, once they complete the FAFSA application, that they should expect to find some correspondence, or when can they receive their money? Can you kind of walk through that
Okay.
timeline of that process?
So technically, they have 46. The advisors have 46 weeks to process. We say that, to make sure that everybody's good to go if something goes wrong. But at 3 to 5 business days, when that application hits us, then if you're automatically approved and we don't need anything, it's automatic. It's in the system. It's good to go. Your funds, you got to be mindful of this. Your funds are released to the business office, okay? Not to financial aid, to the business office to pay for your tuition and fees 10 days prior to the start of classes. A lot of students are like, hey, I want it right now. I want to buy my books and everything else. We don't release it until 10 days prior. Then the business office does their thing over there. Um, just, yeah.
Okay, so students, once they complete the application, they should know if it's been accepted or if they need more information. What if they do need more information? What if it's required that they have submit more information?
The checklist is very vital when you go on, because any department you talk to, they're going to want to talk and look at that Eagle Self Service for those checklist items, because a lot of things, if you're on a hold, if you're on a meningitis hold, anything of that nature, it's popping up in that Eagle Self Service and it's telling you what to do. So if we need documentation, let's say citizenship. I needed a certificate of naturalization and everything the other day, and I'm like, it was on your checklist. Plus, I sent an email. So checking that checklist is very vital. That's where that is your main point right then and there to really know what's going on.
Okay, so using that checklist should be kind of like a roadmap or a stepping scale to complete the FAFSA. So you should follow that to a T and don't miss anything on that checklist to make sure that you get submitted the first time and get accepted the first time, and then no follow-up information is needed, because that will certainly delay the process, I
Oh
assume.
yes, it will delay something that could have just automatically been taken care of, like a V4, V5. We just needed a copy of your ID. Let's just say that it could have easily been taken care of. Now we are 2 weeks out from school and we're rushing trying to get your FAFSA corrected, and that's very difficult because you got to understand we have a lot of students coming through. So get it done now, kind of thing, instead of later. So if you get the financial aid done, you're good to go. You can already register for your classes. You just like you're moving right along.
So the
so I'm
best bet is
thinking,
to go ahead.
Thank you for
Go-
speaking to that timeline. Thank you.
yes.
Okay, so the best thing is to get it done now. Don't wait till the last possible minute. Even if your fall semester is August 21st start date, get that information in there now and get it rolling, so you'll be prepared, so you won't have any delays in getting funding or anything of that nature. So good deal. Um, so once a student gets the information, everything is approved, and they realize they're getting funding, what's the best bet for them? Should they expect a check in the mail? Should they expect a direct deposit, or how should they get their money?
So once again, that Eagle Self Service is going to tell you exactly how much you owe. It's going to tell you exactly how much you're possibly being refunded. It's all right there in that portal. So what's going to happen is the business office, once they take out the tuition and fees from the financial aid money, then they have 30 days to send it to your personal account. Okay. A lot of times students are expecting that money immediately, and that's not how it's going to work, unfortunately. But if you see a negative balance on there, then you can go to the library, start getting your books and stuff. So it is there to help you. It's just not physically in your hand, kind of thing.
Yeah, I can
So
speak on the bookstore process a little bit. I've gone through it myself. I work with it for my job here at the school. So when you do your FAFSA, as Ms. Shoney said, you're going to first go through all the financial aid process. Please check that checklist on your Eagle Self-Service portal. You're going to first have your classes paid for. Nothing is going to come out until your classes are paid for. If you have any remaining funds, it will show as a negative balance. Do not be scared. That negative does not mean that you owe the school money. That means it is the school owing you money. So you get that sent back to you as a refund check. So 10 days before classes start, your classes will be paid for, and then you can use that remaining negative balance on your account in the bookstore. The bookstore is going to be located in building 224, which is the Anderson Campus Center. You're going to have your student ID card to go ahead and purchase books using financial aid. You cannot use anything but your student ID card for textbooks in the bookstore. You can get your ID card from, I apologize, I believe, give me 1 second. I don't want to tell you guys the wrong building number.
I think it's 209, the enrollment center.
Yes, 209 the Enrollment Center. You can get your ID card there free of charge. Um, it is free for students. All you have to do is be enrolled in classes. Does not matter if they're distance learning, what campus, you can get an ID card. And then you'll go into the bookstore and present your ID card to them. When they ask you how you would like to pay, you will say with financial aid. And then they will use your ID card, pull up your account and see how much you have. And then if there's anything left that's still owed, you will pay it with card, check, cash, however you prefer. Now, if you still have anything remaining after using it at the bookstore, 10 days after your classes have started, so this is a 20-day window, you will be able to have that money refunded to you from the school. And again, we're all talking about your Pell money. This also works for other scholarships. The timelines might be different depending on the scholarship, but for Pell, 10 days before, 10 days after. It will be sent to you either through direct deposit or a mailed check. It depends on your settings with the school. Please make sure you have an account on file to have money sent to you.
And I believe that the school prefers you to use direct deposit.
Yes.
Is that correct? Simply because of the constant movement, students move and so forth. So it's better to have a direct deposit set
Yes.
up.
Please, please, please set up direct deposit. You can do it on your Student Eagle Self-Service portal. You will go on the side and go to your user profile, and then from there you'll see a little line that says refunds and checks. You can add it in there. Just add your bank account. It won't take any money from you. You'll show a balance of $1. They'll take it and give it back. They don't actually take the money. Nothing is happening. It's just to show that the account's active. That is all it is. Your money is safe, and then they will direct deposit that money to you. Again, 10 days after classes start is when it will be sent, but it takes up to 30 for it to actually reach you because there's a lot of students that the school has to process.
Yeah, we don't want the check to get lost in the mail, so
Yes.
direct deposit would be the way to go. Shauna, you mentioned earlier, oh, and I just lost my train of thought here. Boom, it'll come back to me. Go ahead, Morgan. Sorry, it'll come back to me.
Is there any student questions that we're missing? Any helpful tips that you guys have for the financial aid process?
The reason I'm telling everybody to get it done with your FAFSA and everything is you got to understand there's only four advisors that complete all of CTCs around the world, financial aid. So when we're right now on our downtime, then we have opportunity to hurry up and really get your stuff going before that big push comes through.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Yes, I can't say enough. I have students that they don't understand the process of, hey, how do I get the funds released? Or like you said, they don't check their email to follow the steps to, you know, get everything done in a timely fashion. So the key definitely is to check that email.
And should anything go wrong with your FAFSA that you have to turn in paperwork, if you get it done early, the sooner this is done, the better, because that means that 10 days before your classes start, you can pay for your classes with your financial aid without struggle. We want this to be as easy as possible.
I remember now, Shoni, you mentioned earlier that you recommended Pell Grants. Kind of, why would you recommend a Pell Grant as opposed to a student loan? I
Oh,
know students might not understand the
right.
difference between those two, and so I just want to make sure that's clear.
So the Pell Grant, you do not have to pay back. That's the wonderful part about it. That is absolutely just free and clear. With the loans, that's the stuff you have to start paying back and everything. That's when you have to be careful and mindful because some of them have accrued interest, some that starts right there as soon as you do it, and then some accrues interest after you graduate. So you have to be mindful because I know for a fact for me, when it comes to loans and student loans, I fell into that trap and I'm going to have to pay a lot of money back. So that's why we want to try to utilize that Pell very much so. That's why I push the students toward that Pell. And like I said, it's already accepted for you. You don't have to accept any of that when it comes to the Pell. Now, you will see whenever you get your award letter, you'll see your Pell and then you'll see your two loans, a subsidized loan, unsubsidized loan. You will stay in a pending status on those loans until you either go in there, accept them, or reject them. Okay. We do not touch those loans. Those are absolutely for you to figure out. If you mess up and accept them, and then you're like, here comes your parents. It's okay. Um, we can reject those with a loan adjustment form and everything. Okay. Just definitely I encourage you sit down with your parents when and talking about loans. If you don't have that, then you come in and talk to Miss Tina. Miss Tina will help you. There are several that'll help you here. Okay.
Yeah, so it's better to use a Pell Grant where you don't have to pay back than once you get your degree or certificate and you're starting out with your new career in debt and having to pay that back with the student loan. So sometimes it might be best to graduate debt free. So that's why
Yes.
they recommend that. And can you remind everyone that the Pell Grant has to be done every school year? What is the process with that?
So it's the same thing, the financial aid, the FAFSA on the studentaid.gov, you go in there and complete it once again. And when that news, we're starting the 23-24 school year for fall. So whenever the 24-25 school year starts showing up, usually around February, start applying for your FAFSA then. And so once again, it's the early business. Just get it done.
And then since it's summer, you will see the 22-23 FAFSA because you can still apply for the summer semester. Please be careful and make sure you're doing, as Ms. Shoney said, the one for the 2023 to 2024 school year. We don't want you to get all the way up to classes and realize that you've completed the wrong FAFSA and it's going to take longer to get you your funding because at that time it's crunch time, like we've been saying. You're going to want to get this done as soon as possible.
Another thing is you have to be mindful of how your classes are set up. Okay. Financial aid will only pay for the classes that are within the term dates. Okay. So, very important. There's a lot of students that are overlapping their terms, which means summer's coming into fall, and you can't do that. Also, another thing, you cannot. Just like, oh, well, I didn't use that, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in my fall semester. That's not how that works. We have to give that money back to the Department of Education, but yet be put back on your Pell lifetime eligibility. So just be mindful of that.
Thank you. Thank you for that
You're welcome.
information. I see that a lot too.
And then if you're worried about the term dates, don't be scared. They're on the financial aid webpage. You can call financial aid, you can call anybody, and we can figure it out for you. But also on your financial aid Pell Grant award letter on your Eagle Self-Service profile, when you open that award letter, it has very clearly written for you summer, fall, spring. Probably not in that order because that was a weird order. Fall, spring, summer, and it will have the term dates that you are allowed to start and finish in for your financial aid to qualify for those classes.
Also, you will see a large number whenever you're looking at that award letter. That large number isn't what you're going to get every semester. I know that probably sounds crazy, but you don't get that all every semester. They take that lump sum and they divide it in between the 3 semesters. And so that's very important to know because I have a lot of students that are like, Shoni, I'm looking at 8 grand. And I'm like, well, you have to divide that by 3 and put those in the other semesters. So very important whenever you're breaking that down. If you don't understand, call me. Okay.
And then another thing that I've had students have an issue with before is if you're taking 6 credit hours in the beginning half of the semester and then 6 in the second half to make your full time, you're going to get half your Pell released for those first classes and then half your Pell released in the second half of the semester. So you will not be receiving your full Pell refund those 10 days after your classes start in August. If we're doing the fall semester, you might get them in October because you're taking 2 different 8-week terms.
And if y'all are wanting to know, we have a thing that we can calculate and break it down, a formula that we can break down for you. So if you're confused, you're like, hey, how much am I going to get for taking one class? Some people get some money for one class, some people don't get any. So just be mindful that if your friend is getting more Pell Grant than you are not. It's just earned income credit and everything else that you have to consider. So very.
Is there a limited number of credit hours to be eligible for financial aid?
So whenever it comes to your financial aid, as soon as you are awarded, okay, it's going to be 12 credit hours, which is full time. Okay. Not 6 credit hours, 12 credit hours. Okay. Then 9 to 11 is going to be 3/4 time, which we would divide that within 3/4 of your Pell, how much you would receive. Halftime is 6, and anything below 6 is going to be less than halftime. So you'll see different numbers up there. That's why when I'm looking at it, it looks very just weird whenever you're looking at it, but just it's okay. It's a lot of numbers.
And what happens if, let's say, a student signs up for 12 credit hours, then a couple weeks into the semester, they decide to drop a couple classes or get dropped from a class? What happens to their financial aid then?
Well, it all depends on the census date, and also you got to understand that it's going to go against your cumulative rate. So if you start taking that off, then it's going to throw them into that warning status or that suspension status. It's not necessarily where they always have to pay it back. It all depends on the census date and what we're looking at and how many days they were attended the class.
Okay, so there's a possibility that they will have to pay some of that money back.
Absolutely.
And then for clarification, because I know a lot of things depend on census date here at the school. Census date is the last drop date for your course. It should be in the syllabus. It is also depending on 8-week, 10-week, 12-week, 16-week term. It is in our course handbook. Our course catalog, which is our handbook for classes. It is written there as well. It depends on each class and the class length. It is why we aren't going to give you a specific date and we call it the census date. But the last day to drop is the census date.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. If you have to drop a class for whatever reason and you're getting the Pell Grant or financial aid, you want to check that census date to make sure, so to see if there's going to be any repercussions of you having to pay money back. So always check that.
There
Because
is
again, as Shoni said, life happens, things come up, and you may be forced to drop a class. So
and if you're dropping a class because you realize that you don't like it or it's not fitting in your degree plan, or if for whatever reason your class is canceled, you do have the opportunity to pick up another course to keep you at your full-time 12 credit hour Pell Grant status. That is also an option. Don't be scared if you have to drop your class, you're going to have to pay. No, there is an option to re-enroll in another course if you want that as well.
good deal.
As far as the Pell Grant, because I see one of the questions over here, the Pell Grant, you have to fill it out every year. So just be mindful of that, whenever that 24, 25 school year comes around, that you have to fill it out again because it's forever changing and it's based off the 2 years taxes prior.
Okay. Any other questions on Facebook that we're seeing, Lee or Mariceli, that you're monitoring?
I don't see any questions on Facebook.
Okay, great. Erica, do you have any questions since you're here? Feel free to type them in, or if you've got a mic, feel free to speak out. And I assume, Erica, you saw Ms. Morrow's contact information. She typed in the chat earlier. So Erica says she's all good. So Charlotte, Morgan, any last words of wisdom?
Do not procrastinate doing your FAFSA. If
Get it
you
done.
get it done, if you open the application, go ahead and open it and look at it. Just know what you're going to be asked. Because I remember the first time I opened the FAFSA application, it was completely overwhelming looking. It's really not in all actuality. It just is a lot of questions and it looks like a lot the very first time you open it. It's super simple stuff. They're asking things like, where do you live? What's your address? How long have you lived there? It's things you can answer. It just looks like a lot all at once.
Correct.
Go ahead and just get it done, get it out of the way, because it's a really big thing on your to-do list. It's going to help you immensely here at the school.
And
And then if you still have questions, then just reach out, give someone a call, and you can also walk into the financial aid office.
and which building are you in, Shawnee? Are you in next door and you're in the student services building, is that correct?
Mhm.
Right. So, all right. And Shawnee, any last words of wisdom from you since you are the financial aid guru, so to speak?
No, I'm really not. So I just want to wish y'all good luck. I want you to do good. Just financial aid, yes, it's dreadful. No one wants to deal with it. I do. I don't know. I love it. But just reach out to make yourself successful, okay? Because I don't know and the advisors don't know until you ask a question. We can assume all day long, but we don't know. Okay? So very important, and I truly mean come into the financial aid office. We will help you all day long because that's why I came back to CTC. It's what I love. So um, I put my contact information up there. Y'all can email me, call me, whatever you need to do.
Right.
Um,
Good deal.
to wrap this up, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some numbers and building numbers. Um, phone numbers is the numbers I meant originally. So first off, the financial aid building is going to be building 215. Um, they are going to be able to help you when you walk in there. You're going to walk in the main doors and go to the left. And then the building right next to it, building 209, is going to be where you can get your student ID card. And that's what you're going to need to get your books in building 224. If you have any questions, because that's a lot of numbers, I'm going to go ahead and give you some contact phone numbers for the campus, and any of us are willing to help you find out what you need to do. Miss Shoney's number was 254-526-1179. And then I can be reached at 254-526-1357. And then Miss Charlotte Wesley can be reached at 254-501-3072. We're all willing to help you. And if you can't find our numbers for whatever reason, if you Google our names in the CTC after it, you'll be able to pull up any of our pages and our contact information is on there. And if you call anybody on campus, there we have directories. Find a number, somebody will get you to who you need to be gotten to.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Were you going to say something, add something else more? Or
Nope.
okay. Well, I'll just summarize everything and what you guys said. Please, please, please get the FAFSA done timely. Get it done now while you're thinking about it. Do not wait till the last minute. Also, ask questions. There are no dumb questions. These guys are used to student questions. They've heard it all. They know it all. They can answer your questions. So don't be shy about asking questions because that's the only way you're going to get it correct is to ask that question if you're stumped. So make sure you turn to these guys and get the information that you need. All right. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll put a wrap on this. And just let me say that we will share this financial aid FAFSA Q&A on YouTube later on today. It'll be available. So if you missed part of it or need to review any of it, it will be available later on YouTube. So you can check it out there. Okay. All right. So any last words of wisdom? If not, we'll call it a day.
I believe that is all. Thank you everyone for attending. Please reach out if you have any questions.
Great, good deal. Thank you so much, Erica, and thank you all for being here. We truly appreciate it, and we thank the panel for your insight because it is definitely helpful. So again, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.